Hello, everybody. It is Thursday, the 23rd of January, and I want to talk about the danger of blind faith or being the indiscriminate follower of something, because you shouldn't be. You should always use your own discernment. Right, I've just been, again, getting a long list of emails about Joe Dispenza, and one of the things she pointed out was, well, he's making money out of that. Yes, of course he is. I mean, how stupid do you think I am? Of course he's making money out of it. And I mean, truth being told, I'm green with envy. I wish I would make money out of this. Yeah, I'm putting God knows how much time into this, and my finances are, well, shit doesn't even cover it. So, yes, he's making money out of it. Why shouldn't he? If that is what he wants, if that is his desire, why should that not manifest for him? Yeah? Now, but here comes, and this is actually what Jesus told you, clearly told you, follow no man. Follow no man. And of course, Christians, when they're told, follow Jesus, in the name of Jesus, Jesus is the one. Jesus is the embodiment of the all, which is absolute nonsense. But you're clearly following a man. Again, you're using no discernment. You're just blindly swallowing everything that is being said. So, okay, back to Joe Dispenza as the new Messiah. Yeah, the one that we should all follow blindly. No, don't. Now, I've been looking at videos of outcomes that his teaching has created, and that is what you should follow. Do not look at the man. Listen to what he's saying. Yeah, it is the teaching, not the man. So, I've been looking at outcomes that our teaching or his teachings are producing, and well, it's a bit of a mixed bag. For most part, I think it's good outcomes. People do experience good outcomes in their lives. But there are some that crash badly, apparently, following that. And here comes. There's reports of people that have suffered some kind of breakdown or psychosis. Right? Okay, that can happen. Again, that is a downside. Yeah, as I said, the Native Americans or Native tribes would call this strong medicine. Strong medicine can have side effects. Yeah? So you need to be aware of that. It's not all good. You know, it's not just the one path into enlightenment, and there can be no darkness. There can. There always can. So, okay, so if people did have, let's say, a full-on breakdown or a psychosis, yeah, those things don't happen like that. There would have been warning signs on the way that something was going wrong. And whose responsibility was it to listen to those warning signs? They are not Joe Dispenza's responsibility. You are the one that is doing it. Yeah? You are the one that chose to go on that way. You are the one that needs to be aware of the effects that it has on you. Yeah? And if you start to feel that something is going wrong, then you must stop. And you must examine within yourself what is actually going on. That is your responsibility. Your mind, your body, your life, your responsibility. Nobody else's. So again, we can put that back to Jesus, to the original teaching there in the New Testament. Things were starting to go wrong with him. definitely was starting to go wrong. He was veering off his path. He was losing focus or shifting focus onto another destination. Yeah? Now, again, he had people around him, and I think you're better off to have people around you, not to go this on your own. Yeah? So he had people around him that should have stopped him when they saw things going wrong. That was, if the disciples were there to look after their master, then they should have looked after him. Yeah, and Peter's half-assed attempt at stopping him, oh, I wish you wouldn't go there. Not good enough. I really think at that moment Peter absolutely failed his master, his rabbi. He absolutely failed him. He should have stopped him. So, again, be aware that there are pitfalls. And here is what I'm actually trying to do. I'm looking at the good and the bad. I'm looking at what it is actually saying, what it is supposed to produce, and then looking at the shadow side of it, because there always is one. And this is probably why my channel is going nowhere, because nobody wants to hear that. Because the followers want to believe on the one truth that will do it all. Yeah, and where you do not have to think for yourself. Oh no, that yoke is definitely taking off your shoulders. Yeah, don't think for yourself. It takes too much effort, and you will actually have birth pains. You would have to go through the pains of discernment yourself, which obviously, if you follow the one, that is all taken away from you. So, and most people crash doing that. Again, the person I'm in contact with has done that for years. She says, oh, I've been where you have been. No, you've never been where I have been. Yeah? Because what she did for years, honest to God, from one thing to the next. And every time there was one thing, it became all. Every time. Yeah? Thoughts, emotions, investing entire energy into one thing. Every time. And then it wasn't quite right. So we throw that one out of the window and we go and do it again with the next thing. Over and over and over again. And I think many are going through that process until they end up so completely exhausted and drained that they will settle back into, well, it's all a lie. I settle back, I resign myself to this material reality, and that's all it is. Because they haven't, honest God, got the strength left to do anything else anymore. And that is exactly what that path is supposed to do. That is why they are telling you this, the one truth. You must search for the one truth, because it doesn't exist. And you will go that path from one thing to the other until you are utterly exhausted, and you will go back into acquiescence and resigned to there's nothing you can do. That is exactly what that path is supposed to do. It's supposed to break you, and it will. So, no, you have to have discernment all the time. There's good and there's bad, and that is completely subjective to yourself. What is good for you, what is bad for you, what is working for you, what isn't working for you. And the other thing you actually have to have is a bloody destination. Where is it you actually want to go with this? What is it you want to become? What is it you want to experience? And that's what they're teaching you, actually serve that intention. Again, that is God. God is the intention. And God is that which decides what, serves his intention and what doesn't. That is self-determination. That is freedom and self-determination. And for that you have to engage your own brain. Or you will be blown by any wind that blows. Yeah? A mindless follower of whatever wind blows. And it will drive you into destruction. Or at least to a point where you have no longer got the strength to do anything anymore. Now, let me just go back to Joe Dispenza and do what I'm doing. And because there's something there where I saw a possible danger in what it is he's doing. Yeah? And it was an interview that he gave. I don't know, it's a long time that I heard that. And I don't even know which channel he was on, who he was talking to. But, and there was just one sentence in that interview. And when he said that, it was like, oh God, all the lights were flashing, the hair was standing on end, every alarm bell was ringing in my head. Jeepers. So what he said was that people reach a very high point of, I don't know what that is, frequency or whatever. You know, they're all the way out there. And when they come back, and I've seen that not only when Joe Dispenza said that now, I've seen that in others. They say how good it felt, how great it was, and they did not actually want to come back. Yeah? And actually they wanted to have that experience over and over and over again. Yeah? And here is the danger that I think is there. And that it sounds to me like it could be addictive. And again, an addiction, if you suffer an addiction, that is complete loss of self-determination. That is what an addiction is. You have lost control. Something else has control over you. Yeah? And if that is your goal, where you want to go, freedom and self-determination, then there are no good addictions. Doesn't matter what you're addicted to, they all do the same thing. You are no longer in control. Now, one of the reasons, or what I can reason why it may feel good, because you go in the way, and that is, again, the way of John St. Julian, do away with your personas. Yeah? And, you know, they are not something that you have made up. They are something that you are energetically attached to, that your energy is entangled with, that then creates what you think you are. Yeah, they're not make-believe, they are real, they are energetically real. So you are detaching from those energies. There are energies I think you should detach from, you know, like nationality, politics, religion, you know, those sort of things, you should detach from them. I don't think they're good attachments. But there are other things like the mother, the father, the friend, stuff like that. Which in this world, which means that you are energetically attached to this world in a good way. This is where we love our neighbor, where we love others as ourselves, where we are part of a family, where we are part of humanity, and those are good connections. Right, but you're doing away with them as well. And then you reach this highest point of being completely disconnected. What this actually means, and I'd say again, there's a yoke taken off your shoulders and you feel freedom. I'm sure you do. But then you must think what that feeling actually is. Where is it coming from? What is it? And that feeling of total freedom is actually that you no longer care. You are no longer in those connections. They do no longer affect you. You no longer care. That is what that state is. You don't give a shit anymore. Yeah? Which, I don't know. Is that the highest form of consciousness, when you don't give a shit about anybody anymore? Is it? Now, and here's the problem that I'm seeing, because I think for things like the healings, what Jesus did, you have to reach that point. You have to be in that point to receive the energy. And there's something like what the Kabbalah would call equivalence of form. You have to be like the Creator, to be fully connected to the Creator, to receive the energy. And the Creator is completely undefined. Well, that part of the Creator is your defined state is also Creator, but that other part of the Creator is completely undefined, and that is where you get the energy from. So you need to become completely undefined. So it's a bit of a rock and hard place, I think. So what do we do? So again, and I think again that is what happened. Is one of the things that happened to Jesus, because he was in that state all the time. That's what the teaching tells you. He was open all the time. Yeah? He was in that state of receiving all the time. And honest to God, he lost himself. And again, in the end, in the crucifixion, when he went to the cross, he did not give a shit anymore about himself. Again, highest state of enlightenment. Is that where we should all go? So, I say, I haven't quite figured this out yet, only that I'm thinking we cannot be in that state for too long. And we, again, having others around you would probably help to pull you back. Because if, and here again, that is what is your intention in all of this. Yeah? What is it you actually want to achieve? If it is achieving changing something in this world, then you must come back. Yeah, and coming back means taking the good and the bad. Coming back means coming back to suffering. It does. But you're coming back in order to do something about it. And this is actually what the New Testament is really, the way of healing and stuff like that. What it is actually saying, it doesn't say you will get out of suffering completely. You won't. If you are in attachments with others, yeah? If you're truly attached to them, you will feel their suffering. They might cause you suffering at times. Yeah, the goal should really be to keep the suffering to a minimum. Actually, again, love your neighbor as yourself. Don't do to them what you don't want done to yourself, so you don't cause them to suffer. They should do the same for you. And the knowledge of healing as well would mean you don't have to suffer this, or you're not just in the material where you're absolutely helpless. Yeah, it means there are other ways. You have more possibilities of how to bring the suffering down to a minimum. That is all it says. And staying in the material does not, you really have to face up to it. You will never do away with suffering altogether. But then, not being in the material, being in this higher state, means you will never experience these connections. You will not experience life. Yeah, there's a price to pay for that. But as I said, what Jesus taught you is it doesn't have to be as awful as it is. Yeah, we could make this into a far better reality through loving your neighbor as yourself and through the higher knowledge of healing and stuff like that. But again, there might be a pitfall. How often can we use that knowledge before we lose ourselves? Which is, again, totally counterproductive. So, again, do not follow blindly. All of those teachings show you something good, they show you something bad that you need to take into consideration. You need to see it, first of all. You need to see that there is something wrong. Again, you follow a man, just the man, blindly, and say, you must do as he tells you because he is the only enlightened one. And then what? If things go wrong, again, like with the Joe Dispenza, somebody goes into psychosis or something. Yeah? Then what? Well, either you say, well, he was a false prophet, well, you should not, or even better, with Christians, they beat themselves up. Yeah? There's something you're doing, you're not good enough. You are the one that is at fault. Now, you are the one that is responsible for yourself. It should serve you, and you are the one that should stop when things are going wrong. That is your responsibility. I said, don't go into any of those teachings if you are not firm in what it is you are and what your intention actually is. If you cannot be the judge, don't enter into any of those teachings, because they will blow you away and they will quite possibly destroy you if you are not in control. Anyway, here, I leave it at that for today. I wonder if anybody will ever want to hear the downside. Instead of this all glorious light, and let's go there. Let's follow Jesus. Anyway, okay, I leave it at that for today, and I talk to you again soon. Bye.